In the world of medical education, how we handle data is under a bigger microscope than ever before. So today we're going to break down what healthcare data compliance actually means and why, getting it wrong can be a seriously costly mistake. Okay, I want to start with just a number. No context, just this. 440,000 euros. Kind of makes you stop and think, right? What in the world is that? Well, that was the fine a big European teaching hospital had to pay back in 2023, and it was for just one mistake. They stored patient videos in an unsecured cloud system. So we're not talking about some hypothetical risk here. The stakes, both financially and for your reputation, are incredibly high.
And that really gets us to the heart of the problem. Look, we've all jumped on board with digital tools in healthcare education. Telemedicine, AI training, digital records, it's amazing. But all that convenience, it's also created what's basically a digital minefield. Sensitive data it's flowing everywhere, and that makes it way more vulnerable than it's ever been.
So let's get on the same page. What is compliance really? I like to think of it as the guardian of patient data. It's basically the set of strict legal and ethical rules that tell us how we have to handle sensitive information. Making sure we have privacy and security locked down at every single step. And you know what? These rules they're not simple. Not at all. It's more like a giant tangled web of regulations. And honestly, the pressure to keep up with it all is just immense. All right, let's look at the two big ones you've probably heard of, HIPAA and GDPR. Here's a simple way to think about it. In the US, HIPAA is mostly focused on protecting health information inside places like hospitals. But over in the EU, GDPR is way broader. It's designed to protect the data of any EU citizen, and it doesn't matter where in the world that data ends up. Plus, it treats health data as a special category that absolutely requires clear, documented consent. But, and this is a big but, it definitely doesn't stop there. This isn't just a two-player game. You've got other things, like the NIS2 directive in the EU, which is cranking up cybersecurity standards. Then you have country-specific laws, like the UAVG in the Netherlands or Germany's BDSG, and they just pile on even more layers of rules. So with all these different acronyms flying around, it's so easy to feel completely lost, right? But here's the key takeaway. No matter which regulation you're looking at, it all pretty much boils down to 5 core things you have to do. You've got to get consent, limit access, keep logs of everything, retain data properly, and be ready to report a breach fast.
Okay, enough with the abstract rules. Let's talk about how this stuff plays out in the real world. Because honestly, the biggest risks often pop up in the most common everyday things we do in medical training. So just think about this for a second. At your institution, have you ever used something like Zoom or even just a personal mobile phone or maybe Google Drive to record patient simulations or OSCEs?
Here's the really crucial point. These tools are super convenient. We all use them, but they were never built for this. They often lack the kind of end-to-end encryption and the specific consent controls that you absolutely need for handling sensitive health data. And that right there, that's a massive compliance gap. And trust me, the oversights just pile up from there. Things like getting just an informal nod of the head for consent, or having really vague policies about how long you're supposed to keep recordings, maybe not even knowing who officially owns the data. Or, and this is a big one, having no audit trail to prove who looked at a recording and when. Every single one of those is a compliance failure just waiting to happen.
And look, the consequences go way beyond just a fine. These kinds of mistakes can lead to serious regulatory action, maybe even a devastating loss of accreditation for your program, or just do some really severe damage to your school's reputation.
Okay, that's enough doom and gloom about the problem. Let's pivot and talk about the solution. Because the good news is, there really is a clear, structured path to building a digital learning environment that's both secure and compliant.
So here's the framework. Instead of seeing compliance as this big, scary locked door, I want you to think of it as a lock that can be opened with the right set of keys. And for this lock, there are 4 keys.
So let's break down what those 4 keys are.
First, you've got technical controls. Second, organizational practices. Third is consent management. And fourth, and this is a huge one, audit and documentation.
Okay, that first key, technical controls, is really your foundation. We're talking about using platforms that have end-to-end encryption to protect data no matter what. It also means having role-based access, so only the right people can actually view a recording. And, super important, it means having tools that can automatically delete data to enforce your policies without someone having to remember to do it manually.
Now, the second key is all about your people and your processes. Your organization really needs to be doing formal risk assessments, they're called DPIAs, for any new tool you bring in. You've got to have regular, mandatory data protection training for absolutely everyone. Faculty, students, everyone. And you need crystal clear written policies that spell out exactly how digital content is recorded, reviewed, and shared.
And that brings us to keys 3 and 4, consent and documentation. And they really boil down to what I call the golden rule of compliance. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. Seriously, if you can't prove you got consent or show an access log, then in the eyes of a regulator, it's like it never happened. Those meticulous records, they are your only defense.
So here's the big takeaway I want you to leave with. It is so easy to see compliance as just red tape, right? A barrier that slows down innovation. But that is absolutely the wrong way to look at it. Strong compliance is the very foundation that allows you to innovate safely. It's what lets you build responsible, scalable digital learning programs that are ready for the future. And so that leaves us with one last really critical question to ask ourselves. Is our institution's digital ecosystem built to protect our data, or is it built to expose it? It's something we all really need to think about.